Today, we're going on a journey, but not to some far-off place. We're going deep into a feeling, a very specific kind of emptiness, one that has a funny way of showing up right after our happiest moments. And I bet it's a feeling you know all too well.
You know what I'm talking about, right? You're on that perfect vacation, the sun is shining, life is good, and then that last day hits, and this strange kind of hollow feeling starts to creep in. Or maybe you've just had the most incredible meal of your life, and when that last bite is gone, there's this weird little pang of loss. It's that bittersweet ache that shows up just as the credits start to roll on a great experience.
Well, if you've ever felt that, I'm here to tell you, it's not just you. Not at all. It's a deeply human thing. And in Buddhist philosophy, this feeling isn't just some random mood. Nope. It's actually seen as a profound clue about how reality works. It even has a name, Dukkha.
Now, dukkha isn't just one simple thing. Think of it in layers. The first layer is the obvious stuff, right? Physical pain, like a bad headache, or the emotional pain of losing someone. But that second layer, that's exactly the feeling we're talking about. The pain that comes from good things ending. And then there's a third layer, which is even more subtle. It's this low-level, constant hum of unease in the background. That feeling that nothing is ever really, truly solid or secure. And that brings us to the real heart of the matter, doesn't it? Why? Why can't the good times just stick around? Why does even the most perfect, joyful moment seem to carry the seed of its own ending right inside it? If this feeling is so universal, what's behind it? What's the source?
The answer in a single word is impermanence, or anicca. This is one of the absolute bedrock principles, the idea that everything, and I mean everything, from a mountain range to a city to your own thoughts and feelings, is in a constant state of change. Nothing is permanent. Everything is always arising, shifting, and eventually passing away.
Here's a beautiful way to get a feel for this. Try to picture your own mind. We tend to think of it as this solid, stable me. But what if you pictured it instead as a waterfall, a constant, dynamic, unstoppable flow of thoughts, feelings, and sensations, each one appearing for just a moment, sparkling, and then tumbling away to be replaced by the next? There's no single permanent drop of water you can grab. There's only the flow. And right there, that's the root of our struggle. It's this fundamental clash. On one side, you have us, desperately craving permanence. We want to nail things down, to control life, to hold on to the people and moments we love and just freeze them. But on the other side, you have the universe, which is nothing but change and flow. So much of our suffering comes from this mismatch. It comes from trying to grab a handful of that waterfall. You just can't do it. But here's where it gets really interesting. Once you start to really sit with that idea, once you begin to accept that everything is in flux, it opens the door to an even deeper, more profound insight. It forces us to ask, well, if nothing is permanent and fixed, then what is the true nature of anything? And this leads us to probably the single most misunderstood concept in all of Eastern philosophy, Shunyata, or emptiness. So let's be super, super clear about this. Emptiness does not mean nothingness. It's not saying the world is a big black void and nothing exists. Not at all. What it really means is that things are empty of a separate, independent, self-contained existence. The brilliant philosopher Nagarjuna just nailed it with this line. He said anything that arises because of other causes and conditions, which, when you think about it, is literally everything, that is what we call empty. So you can think of it this way. Emptiness is really just a poetic, philosophical way of saying radical interdependence. So what does this actually look like? It means that a tree isn't just a tree. It's the sun, the rain, the soil, the air, all woven together in the form of a tree. And you aren't just you. You're your parents, your friends, the food you ate this morning, the ideas you've read. Everything is connected in this massive, intricate web. The key insight here isn't that things don't exist, but it's about how they exist. They exist relationally, not in a vacuum. Now, different thinkers came at the same truth from a couple of angles. You had one school, the Madhyamaka, that really focused on looking at the outside world and analyzing it to see that interdependent web. Then you had another, the Yogacara, that turned inward, saying that the world we experience is basically a projection of our own consciousness. But here's the cool part. They were both climbing the same mountain from different sides. The goal was the same, to break free from the illusion that things are separate and solid. Okay, so this is all really fascinating, mind-bending philosophy. But let's get practical. What's the payoff? How does seeing the world as this big, interconnected, constantly changing flow actually help us with that feeling of emptiness we started with? Why does any of this matter on a Tuesday afternoon? This is where it all comes home. When you truly get impermanence, you stop fighting change and you start flowing with it. That's resilience. When you understand emptiness, you naturally lighten your grip. You can love and appreciate things fully without that desperate clinging. It allows you to see the deep, undeniable connection between you and everyone else. And that's the root of real compassion. Ultimately, it all leads to inner freedom. The realization that peace doesn't come from trying to control the world outside, but from understanding the nature of your own mind. There's a famous text called the Heart Sutra, and it basically wraps up this whole journey in one powerful sentence. It says that when you perceive that all things are empty of existing all by themselves, you are freed from all of that suffering, all of that distress, all of that dukkha. That insight is the key. It's what unlocks the door. So, I'll leave you with this to think about. If the perfect vacation isn't the real source of our joy, and the end of that vacation isn't the real source of our sadness, if our own perception, our own clinging is the main ingredient in the recipe, then what part of this whole experience is actually truly within our power to change?